Time to check in with our lizard overlords. What are they up to? Well, this.
Is this the worst hour now?
Are we done our first hour?
Yeah, we're into our worst hour now.
Keep your expectations of this episode low. Starting the worst hour now, I feel like we've crossed into like maybe not great content hour.
Welcome to our worst hour.
Over the past couple months, because I do it often in my head, I like, hey, we have this much in the bank account, and we got this coming and this owed to us and everything. And I think in the short term, it said, okay, well, we got this much from this job, but then we're not ahead on the next two jobs. Like, we just used the money from the last job to pay for this job. So we're like even, but we didn't make any money. So what if we never did the last job or the next job? Why did we work at all? It just seems like the bank account is staying the same for now anyway. I mean, I know the money's coming in, but
For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice, Chad. And here's the advice I will give you.
Okay.
Every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, baby.
That's like, so in the commercial world, I bet I could turn someone else's low bid where they would lose money into a profitable job if I did it. Well, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, if I'm low bid and I'm still making money, then I've turned their losing hand into my winning hand.
Yeah, because every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser.
You just have to think about how you can do the job faster, speed.
Or you need to find a, like, one time we got a job because we applied for and it was accepted to use recycled A instead of virgin A. And we saved $7 a ton, which doesn't seem like that much until there was, I think, 25,000 tons of A going into that job. So it was a substitution that, so to everybody else who looked at that job, when they all bid it with virgin A, they were like, that's a loser. But it was really, for us, it was a winner. We did well on it. But it was because we found a creative solution to become the lowest price. We value engineered the job.
I love it. I'm building a value engineered retaining wall right now.
How's that going?
The one that you're peeling off the asphalt?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
With the asphalt retaining wall.
Yeah.
The one part of the driveway. And then I almost wanted to turn to the client and said, you told us we weren't low bid before we got this job. How low was low bid? Because I'm here so that I don't lose my shirt. I'm here to shovel my way out of a bad price. That's the only reason I am dogging it on the site with these guys. Because they are completely capable, but I need to make sure we are as efficient as possible on this so that we can make money.
It's a double guard situation.
We had the double guard tandems there. We had everything to make it go as smooth as possible. My dog was riding in the tandem with me so that I could be productive and not driving around in my truck with him. And I think we'll make $1. Yeah, we'll do okay, maybe.
How long is that job? How many days?
That's right now we're 2 days in.
But how many days did you schedule it for? I guess that's a better question.
4 days in. We have one more day till completion. Maximum 1 day to completion.
How many days did you think it was going to take when you bid it?
Well, 4 days. 4 days or 4 days plus the asphalt tear out. And it's going to take 3 including it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the company will make maybe $3,000.
Well, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
But I do this, like I said, I do this all the time. Oh, this job paid for that job, and we're not up any money, but we got a bunch coming, and as long as we stay out of the red. We're far from the red, but I anticipate by the end of year we'll have $750,000 owed to us on accounts receivable, and that's just commercial contracting because it takes forever to see money come in. But every hand's a winner, and every hand's a loser.
The best that you can hope for, really, is to die in your sleep.
That's the way to go. Not too early.
And then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. You know, I don't know. This song is so fucking good. We've been a guy that I respect in the industry said to me, "This is the year where you have to. If someone offers you something, you take it and then you figure it out. And if you have something that's signed and it gets pushed back a bit because someone gave you this thing that had to be done immediately, that's what you do. And that's how you're going to get through the season." And when he said it, I thought about it, because normally I would be very like, "Hey, we're booked. We can't do that. Or we could do it in 2 weeks or 3 or whatever." Right. But this year we say on Tuesday, one of our clients asked us to, because one thing we have an advantage of is because we have all the trucks and all the stuff, we're pretty mobile, right? So a 1-day gig can be a good lucrative, because we can float everything in, float everything out, pick up our own some stuff, like we had to spread 20 tons of fine wrap, which I didn't even know was a fucking thing till I had to go find it. It's like they double grind the asphalt and it makes it into like really fine. And then if you really pack the shit out of it on a warm day, it will actually start to harden back up because you've released so much of the oils, I guess. I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. Anyways, we found it. We could truck it in, do it in and out one day. We got a bunch, we have so many trailers and trucks. And so we've been getting some calls like that to do these 1-day jobs. And we have a fair-sized residential job going on, but I called them and said, we're going to delay it by 1 day. We have some little job we have to go and do. No one got upset. We were open and honest about what we were doing. We didn't lie to anyone. We didn't. I think that was some of the best advice I got this year, was to, if you get an opportunity, jump on it. And if you have something that's signed and in the bank, and that extended our season, that 1-day job extended our season by 1 day. We did okay on it. And at the end of the year, the bank's not going to ask me how many $4,000 1-day jobs you did. They're just going to ask what the gross sales was. They don't give a fuck how I got there.
Yeah.
Unless it's Royal Bank. Fuck Royal Bank and the horse they rode it on.
Along those lines, I've been doing the same thing. Like when I go to an estimate, a client will say, "Oh, when do you think you can do this?" And the same answer, regardless of how much work we've had, is probably 2 or 3 weeks. And you find a way to put it in 2 or 3 weeks because that's a selling feature this year. Whereas, you just scoop in everything that you can get.
So you're saying when they ask you, what's your timeline? The line, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces." 2-3 weeks. That's what sells this job. Yeah. I've made a life out of reading people 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. It stops their face from losing all expression. So So
if you weren't the low bid, why did that person hire you for that driveway job?
Because I didn't try and sell them a hollow core wall that holds up a full driveway and the static pressure of a car driving back and forth through it. I told them I'm going to build them a wall you can install by hand, and it's going to be here for 20 years.
So what wall are you installing?
Grande wall. Nice. A budget wall. So
it's a great wall product because it'll go up vertical too. That application.
That's what it's doing.
Step back.
Yeah. It's going straight up, and it's 3 courses high plus a cap, and that's it. It's a utilitarian wall. I said, if you hit this wall with your car, you're replacing the car, not the wall.
Yeah. So. There's a house down the street from where I live, and they wanted a wall to support their whole driveway. And when I looked at it, I said, we use Bestway Ridge Wall, which is a similar product to Grande Wall.
Yeah.
And I just said stacks vertical, and it's if you hit this with the car, it's going to damage the car, not the wall. And every day when I drive down the street, because we did that wall 4 years ago, it was one of the first. Every day I drive down the street, I'm like, I'm so fucking happy we built that wall there and didn't try to use like some small block or hollow core. So happy when I drive by that wall, I know it's fucking good and it's not going to move, and these people aren't going to be like banging on my door going, "You ripped me off, you motherfucker!" It's like I'm so happy we chose
Bumping
that
my
big wall.
Yeah. Oh, the sagging a bit here. No, you're never worrying. And I'm trying to reverse engineer the job in my head to see how you could make money with a small block wall doing the same thing. And I'm thinking, how do you do this? It just doesn't make sense. Because it goes in faster too with this big block, right?
It does, yeah.
So much faster. We put in 4 pallets in 2 hours. You know? It's I don't know. All
So
day.
did you use a clamp or did you use your grapple?
We used the clamp. And we were fighting with it for a while, then we got the hang of it. Or maybe we wore down the clamp enough that the rubber was uneven enough to pick up the blocks better. But there's
So are you saying you used an attachment to put it in?
No, we used just the gravity
Like a gravity clamp?
Yeah, like our little orange clamp. You put it down once, it lifts up. You put it down the second time, it releases.
Yeah. So the grip wouldn't grab it you wouldn't be able to
We
manipulate
didn't
the
even
pieces?
we only had the 4-ton there because the 8-ton's too big to fit in between the houses. And with the grapple on a sling, it's just you can place them exactly where you want them and you're not fiddling around, right? So
Yeah.
it takes an extra man on the ground, but you get the wall straight. So we fucked up the guy's. He had this like concrete ramp that came up to his garage, but he wanted it pulled out. So I said, "Yeah, I guess we can pull it out. It's not in the price, right?" And he knew that. But in that process, we fucked up some of the concrete beside it, right? So now am I eating shit for that broken concrete beside what he asked me to take out? Like there was no way to get. I think I fucked up my grapple or my pinchers on my steel wrist too. But like, who is responsible for that? I think
So
probably me,
although
you know?
I would love to support you and say you're not responsible for it,
Yeah,
I would love to be that person.
yeah. I
But
know
if
it.
you don't, but if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces.
Yeah.
And I just, as soon as you touched that, getting paid or not, you took responsibility for any damage that could have happened. You could have bashed the garage or something. As soon as I do stuff like that, if I had the pinchers and I was pinching concrete, some piece of concrete would shoot like a rocket through the windshield of the car or through some back window. I'd be like, I guess I'm responsible for that now, even though I'm not getting paid for any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I like as the guys were ripping it out and the asphalt beside it was crumbling and like heaving and shit. I said, "So what's your plan for this spot?" And he's like, I don't know." I'm like, well, we'll have to figure something out. But
You will have to figure something out.
you know, we'll have to do something. Is what I say all the time as I
So
walk away.
as that was happening, I feel like this line. So we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness. Is that what you said to him? What you said was, "What are your plans for that area?" And then you both turned your heads and took turns of staring at the window at the darkness, and no one said anything.
Yeah.
Until boredom overtook us, and he began to speak.
No, until the quick cut fired up and we walked away because there was too much dust. We both walked to the opposite ends
And
of the job.
the killer about that is that guy is in his house right now, and he has been formulating a plan since it happened to try and figure out how to loop you into fixing it for free.
Well, I'm gonna fix it, but he's gonna get a bill at the end. But
How much what do you think it's going to cost him to fix it?
to pull out the concrete and I'm gonna maybe I'll cut out a little strip of the concrete, put some brick in, interlock. I don't know. It's probably gonna cost him $400.
I think that's a good, fair solution to the problem.
I think so. I'm not gouging the guy by any means. It's at my cost, like it's not.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is it. It's fair. I don't need to get rich off him. I just can't lose at every turn.
I agree. I had a really deep discussion with Jordan from DPR this week about where the line is for that kind of stuff, for all kinds of stuff like that. Like, where you, because I think that maybe my line has become way too blurred on me just saying, because my problem in life is that I am either all in on a conflict or I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. Let's just get through this and finish the job. I have no middle ground where I can ask for $400. I don't have that middle ground personality. I'm either like, hey, let's fight to the death about this, or I'm just going to do it for free.
I'm not going to ask. I'm going to put it in the invoice, and this is it.
Oh no,
I'm not asking at this point.
No, I'm saying that I probably just wouldn't put it in the invoice and be like, fuck it, I just want to get out of here, get paid, and go to the next thing. This didn't work out great for me. That's where I'm at in my life. But after talking to Jordan, I'm like, maybe I should be more aggressive like you and bill for some things like that. But then on the flip side of that, my personality tends to lend me to get into really violent and volatile confrontations about stuff like that. So that's why I think I started leaning more towards the fuck it, let's just move on to the next thing and get going.
So the beautiful thing about not having a contract that I have to abide by for this stuff is let me backtrack a bit. While I was building a house, I'll ask people to do extra things, right? Electrician, I need an outlet here, I need this here. Plumbers, I want to put this fixture, whatever. I'm expecting there to be an increase in my bill, right? I'm not asking for anything for free. I'd assume other people, when they're getting work done by us, are the same.
And that night got deathly quiet and his face lost all expression.
So whenever I bill this guy for his $400 extra, he can pay it and we can move forward, or he can not pay it. And then if he ever comes to me with a warranty claim, I'll say, hey, you didn't pay your extras, your warranty is void. Sorry. I tried to reason with you. I was being reasonable at the time. You didn't accept my charges, so you voided your warranty on your own.
Right? I feel like that's pretty fair.
I think it's fair. I'm not asking for the world. I'm just asking to be compensated for the extra work that we did. And if you don't think that's fair, then I'm not going to come back and warranty something. Not that I should have to anyway, but I mean, this 9-year-old job that we're doing in addition to, we showed up there today, couldn't dig because it's going to rain tomorrow. I said, hey guys, there's a spot at the downspout we have to fix. And we're about half an inch down at the floor of the garage. Let's lift that back up. No charge to the guy. To spend the afternoon doing that shit because he never hassled me about the price or the extras on the first time around 9 years ago. So it's I think that's one of the best things about not having a contract.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
That's it. So far, so good. 13 years in. Haven't lost our shirt yet.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't remember I could have really talking to you today, and they were telling me that the human brain is designed to deflect trauma and ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember ever getting really soaked on. I know there's a few times we were tight, but I don't know that I've ever gotten really, really soaked on something. I know that it was maybe, I know we still didn't lose money, but the second year we did it, I bid something and there was like 30 different parts to it or something. And in the final contract, somehow a fair length, like 50 feet of armor stone retaining wall got left in the contract. When I was adding together this was before Kelly was in charge. When I was adding together all the different pieces, because it was priced like a menu, I forgot to add the $6,000 or whatever it was for this retaining wall. And when we were doing it, the client came and Nancy was there. The client and Nancy came out and said, "Well, you got to build the retaining wall here." Oh, what are you talking about? That's not included. And then they were like, "Oh no, it is." Like, oh, okay. Built the retaining wall.
Yeah.
Because that was 100% my fuck up. And I know that we were probably pretty tight there, but
Yeah. I've done that shit. I've been, oh, I forgot to put it in your quote. I guess we're doing it for free. You know. But that's different than, hey, there's this piece of concrete here after the fact. Can you rip it out?
no, that's someone clearly
Yeah.
asking for.
Yeah.
We used to have a policy that they had to send us an email requesting the extra, and we would email them back a price, and then they had to email back agreeing to it. So there was a clear chain on the cost. Like if someone was on site, they would say to, at the time, Joe, "How much to rip out that concrete?" And then Joe would call me and be like, "Hey, how much to rip out that concrete?" And then I would email the client and say, "It's $400 to rip out that concrete." And they would email back and say, "Go ahead." And then we would track all the extras out.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
When there's a lot of hands in the administrative side of things, for sure. I think it's
If that extra, like, so you didn't give him a price before you did it, right? You just did it, and we're like,
but that's and that could be wrong. You know, a lot of businesses wouldn't do that, but a lot of businesses would have a contract and they'd have all this stuff dialed in, and you know, like it's just.
but where's your limit on the extra before you say that's enough? Like before you like, so you did $400 worth of work, and you feel like you know this client well enough to say, but what if he had asked you to do something that was $1,000? Would you have said, "Hey, bro, whoa, that's $1,000"?
If I have a problem saying to the client in person what it's going to cost, then it's too much to do right then and there. So if it's something like, oh, I want to add a fire pit in the yard, one of those little block techo kits or whatever, right?
On your finance plan.
Yeah, whatever. If they say, no, can you put that in? And I know damn well they have it at the retailer and the guys have an early day if they don't put this thing in. I will probably say, oh, I'll get a price for you on that. I know it's going to cost like $2,500 for the guys to put it in or something. Maybe a little more. If I can't tell them it's going to be $2,500, then I have to email them and tell them. If I can't say the number to them because I'm embarrassed about how much it's going to cost, then it needs to be in writing and they have to okay it, right? Not embarrassed, but like if I think it's going to cause some friction or confrontation about how much they expect it to be and how much it actually is.
Or you just want to have something where you have an opportunity to explain yourself.
Yeah.
In like, you know, the Techo block kit install, like sometimes, you know, you list out all the things you have to do.
You itemize it. Oh, you need the glue, you need the insert, you need the base, you need whatever, right? And yeah, I can do that. You know, like if you say, yeah, it's going to be $3,500 to put this kit in, and they're like, well, it's just stacked stone. I'm just asking you to put it on like stone dust in the yard. I don't want to go into the whole, oh no, you need this and that. If I just write it, itemize it in the quote, then they can see it, take it or leave it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So. I think I'm probably the same. I think if it's $500 or less, depending on the size of the job too. If you're doing a $2,500 job and it's $500, I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
But if we're doing a $80,000 or $90,000 backyard, I would probably document it at the end of the day with the client and just send them something and say, hey, remember we did this, just so that it doesn't get forgotten about in the end. Or, what, like the job we're working on right now, the whole backyard is fucked. Well, it's better now, but it was fucked. And they asked me if we could, there's a tiny section of roof, like 10 by 5, that catches a single downspout. But in order to, they had to root the down. Anyways, I just said, we'll dig a trench and bury it into a little pit. That's what closed the job. I never it's a job that's just shy of 100K. And I'm like, that little extra was one of the things that helped close the job. That they felt good about it, and that it was better than reducing the price by $500 that trench and pipe is worth. It was a better sales tactic.
We've done, I want these 2 downspouts buried, into pop-ups on the lawn or whatever. Okay, great, I can do it. Do you want a change order that says they're $200 each to do it, or are we just going to do this here? And if you don't pay them, well, there goes your warranty. So was it worth it? So I really don't agree with this $200 charge to bury my downspout. Okay, great.
No problem.
Give me the check for the rest of it then. And when you call me in 6 years, this step could really use a little bit of glue or something like that, I'd be like, nah, for $200 6 years ago, you could have had this covered. Now I'm not doing it. Call someone else, is going to cost you $1,000. And maybe it's bad business, but I made it this far, and people are.
I don't think.
And I'm not an unreasonable person. I'm not asking for more than things are worth. I'm not trying to gouge anyone with extras. This is.
I don't think that's an unreasonable ask.
No, me either. But there's all sorts of people out there.
Do you think that guy asked you thinking it was going to be free? Like you're doing him a quick favor to do that?
Well, he was there when he saw how much work it was, right?
Yeah.
So he watched the struggle with the concrete, and Josh hit it with the sledge, and then cut it some more, and then hit it with the sledge, and then fight with the pry bar. And how do you stop in the middle of the process and say, okay, that's enough for free? If you want us to take the rest of the way out, you're going to have to pay. Like,
you reached the free limit.
The rest of the job is behind a paywall. And if you want the wall out, you're going to have to agree with this. Like, because we can leave it right here now. Like,
that's great.
The job is behind my Instagram paywall. That's all we could. We're out of here. Later. I would love to do that when I'm wearing the camera on my head and record someone's reaction to it. Oh, that's all we're doing for free on that item. The rest of the bottom half of this tree where the root ball is, it's staying. We're not pulling it out.
Free removal from the crown up.
That's awesome. That's good. That's the free work's done. If you want us to do any more, it's another $200. You can do it like a payphone. You're running out of minutes. Your initial deposit of $200 is out. That's second sledgehammer shot. That's where you went over. Now it's like, you have 1 minute left on your long distance. That would be a good setup. That's the setup right there.
Yeah. Okay.
The limit of free work is done. I'm pricing a job right now, and I'm looking at. There's a whole bunch of weird shit that has to go on. I was like, I need to like put some kind of buffer in this for the weird. Like, there's two massive cedar hedges, but the gap to get anything in the backyard is 43 inches.
Mm.
I'm talking to Nancy, and I'm like I have these cedar hedges are big and long. And I can't remember what I had. Like, so I put in it. I think we can get the E20 back there, and all in to remove these two long cedar hedges, I have $7,078.50, and it seems like a lot to remove these hedges. Then I'm like, what if the E20 can't dig these fucking stumps out of it? Because you can't even see the stumps.
Oh,
Like, the hedges are huge. They're huge white cedar hedges, like maybe 20 feet tall. There's going to be bins of just hedge to carry out or buggy out. I don't know if this number is good. Like this, I allowed 2 days of labor and three brush bins, but I don't know if the number is good. But how much more can you charge for it?
yeah. I don't know. I think you're gonna fight with those hedges. Are giant pain in the ass.
Huge pain in the ass.
Huge
Totally agree with you.
Unrewarding work, and nobody is happy doing it.
No.
The only way you're happy taking out a cedar hedge is if your excavator is too big to do the job.
I agree. And I know our excavator is at least 4 tons too small to do this job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's arguable that for $7,000, I could hire a crane and we could just pull them out of the ground with a sling, swing them into a bin out in the front yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, how? Like, but I'm like this. Every job has a job killer. This is the job killer on this job.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it is just a, relatively shitty access patio with a couple stairs. But I can deal with that. These cedar hedges, these people probably think pulling out those cedar hedges is worth $1,000.
Probably. Yeah.
Yep.
People think that anything you're demoing is worth $1,000.
Yeah. I had a client once. He asked for some like river stone and some curbing down the side of his house, and he goes, people were giving me a price of $1,000. He's like, not every job is worth $1,000. And I'm thinking, well, there's not much that's worth less. Every job is worth $1,000. Like, you just had it wrong. Like, but that's people's mentality, right? Like,
what would you do for less than $1,000?
what would you do for less than $1,000?
Not tear out a cedar hedge.
No.
Or it'd have to be pretty fucking small.
Yeah.
If the hedge was big, you could say, and you had great access, floating a big machine there is worth more than $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
You haven't even done anything. You just fucking got it there.
But,
All right, it's 10 o'clock. Are you guys good?
Yeah.
it's plenty of
All right.
value for this episode.
Should I
I
split
feel
this
like
into
there's some
two?
good value. And
Yeah.
I just want to finish off with this line
Hit us.
because I feel it's an appropriate line to end the episode. And crushed out his cigarette and he faded off to sleep. That's the end of the episode.
Ooh, thank you for watching. Ooh. Yeah, those people run the world. They're so impressive. What a bunch of freaks.